An infrastructure means that basic ingredient, system or services that is required for the smooth takeoff of any organization, be it government, be it an organization or individuals. So it simply means that an infrastructure is that ingredient that is required for the smooth takeoff of that organization, let it be either roads, let it be buildings or other structures. This investment on infrastructure by the government, no profit is being realized from the government. But in some cases, where the government now decides to open up estate houses, or they decide to invest into maybe provision of transport facilities, like ship, like in airplane, like in train, or in motor vehicles, all these generate revenue. So you can see in infrastructure investments, there are those that profits is generally expected directly either by the government or by the individuals, while in some cases the derivable profit goes to the generality of the public because it enhances the smooth takeoff of both the government and the general public. The provision of infrastructural facilities assist the small-scale industrialists in a very big way, because number one, for those who are, let's say they are a welder must necessarily have provisions of electricity before he can conveniently carry out his job. Likewise, somebody who is a producer of agricultural products it is a must that he should have a good road network, so that he can be able now to transport his produce from the local areas to urban areas where he's going to have a very good market for his produce. The same thing is happening to those who are doing block making. If you are a block maker, you must require road for you to be able to transport, and a vehicle for you to be able to transport to go and meet up the demands of your customers. So a small scale operator definitely requires a lot of infrastructure for him to be able to successfully conduct his businesses towards getting the required derivable profit from what he's doing. So they need shelter, they need roads, they need water, they need light to carry out most of these activities. So these things are in high demand, and they are a necessary ingredient for them to be able to produce. To an extent, demand is higher than supply in Nigeria. I have tried for a very long time to be able to identify why these things are happening. I have carried Mr. X. He has been tried. He has done his best. He has left. Mr. B has left. But the differential terms between A and B is that most of the times when A starts something and he leaves, when B comes, B will leave what has been started by A to start another one differently. So you see, we are almost moving 2 steps forward, 2 steps backward. That means we are almost living at a zero level. But I am happy and I am grateful to God that with time, people are now beginning to understand that governance, because when we talk of infrastructural provisions, we should let more to government, because most of these items are expected from the government. Individuals are only being encouraged. Let's come back to Dangote Nigerian government relation. Dangote is a provider of goods and services. It's a major provider of goods and services in Nigeria. He's one of those that the federal government of Nigeria is very proud of, not even in Nigeria, but in most parts of Africa. But this is happening simply because he is relying more on the government to open up the avenues for him. Like the cement factory, the government has to go into provision of roads. The government has to go into making sure that light is being made available. The government is making sure that they encourage by making sure that the raw materials he requires to carry out all these productions are made available to him, so as to be able to enhance and improve on the production of all the materials he's been engaged in producing. So you see, he's a private entrepreneur, but he relies more on the government to open up the road for him, and that is what is happening. The same thing that a big entrepreneur like Dangote is relying on is the same thing that those at the very lower cadre, who are the small-scale operators, are also relying on. Only that their own is a very minimal requirement. But let me tell you that those small-scale farmers or small-scale entrepreneurs will enjoy more of what they produce than more of what the bigger ones produce. Why? Because let's take for a farmer, somebody who produces only 10 bags, he put them at home. He is the one, when he is in high need of his basic requirements, he will take about 2-3 bags to the market. It is those 2-3 bags that is being opened and sold in measures to the teeming population of those who cannot afford to buy a bag. But most of those big farmers who enjoy most of the infrastructures, they import outside, or they sell to companies, or at times they even sell to hotels or clubs where the white men are visiting, those who have money. But this one, the one who produces only 10 bags, is the one who go and sell about 2-3 bags, that an ordinary person who cannot afford to buy a bag will now go and buy in majors. So they require more of these infrastructures so as to give them more encouragement to produce more, so that it will go round the generality of Nigerians. Maintenance is very important, because number one, by the time you refuse to maintain that structure you are putting up, a lot of people may go out of job. A lot of poverty may be created. A lot of people may even decide to go wayward. This may lead to all this unrest we are having, because an angry mind is an angry mind is a devil's workshop. But by the time you stay, you are not doing anything. Maybe you are like, okay, let's come back to KTL now. All these are textiles. You see day in, day out, maybe in a weekly or fortnightly basis, you see workers of KTL and all these textile industries, they come out to protest. Why? Because there has been non-maintenance of the facilities within the textile industries where they used to generate their source of livelihood. But with adequate maintenance, I don't think all the textiles will go down. I don't think like the fertilizer industries we have will go down. I don't think most of the roads that were constructed in the 60s will still be, you know, in Nigeria, there are still roads that were in use in the 60s that are not being looked at. But I'm happy, presently there has been this, through FEMA, there is general maintenance of all the roads. But before, there has not been any maintenance culture. And there are lots of industries, like when you go to, there was one time I went to Ngwankaji here, there is a poultry house. When you see the incubator, it used to incubate over 2,000 day-old chicks a day. It is there, lying idle, because there is no maintenance, it is not working. Go to most of these government companies, even when you go to Kano, individual companies, gineries, tanning industries, skin tanning industries, they are all allowed to rot. Why? Because there is no maintenance culture. And all those who have been benefiting from it are now working freely, idly in town without anything doing. So maintenance culture is very important.